Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining and crafting along with Ro. This original craft along was supposed to be live. Unfortunately, I had to pre-record due to family conflict. However, I will get back to you if you have comments or questions that you add to this video. So thank you for joining and crafting along with me. We today are going to be creating the 4 cards that was called the Bloom Expressions card class. So we're going to be creating these 4 cards. Fun, easy, beautiful to make. Sharing some new techniques with you, but showing you how to create this dual cutout. And then check out this fun fold card. Right? Beautiful. So hopefully by now you have received your kits class in the mail. Those that are interested in purchasing the assembly guide, that is still available for $10. Just place a comment here or email me at craftwithro@gmail.com. So the product that we are featuring in today's craft along is the Memorable Blooms. And love the sentiments, and I love the fact that we have a great assortment of dies that come with that. So this is a really fun die right here that we're going to share with you on how to create, there's several different ways to use those dies, and then these fun, beautiful stamps as well. And that was an optional add-on. And then we also featured in this class the perennial postage. And the great news is that these perennial postage dies are going to be continued next year. They are in the upcoming catalog. So that is great news. They're a favorite of mine, and I use them as an everyday essential. So that's great news. So we are going to create these 4 cards. We're going to create this one, nope, then this one, then this one, and then this one. So in your class, you received everything pre-cut for the most part. If you didn't purchase the bundle, you can use your own products of crafts that you have on hand to recreate. And it's a great card for whatever you decide to choose and to embellish it. So and then everybody was emailed an assembly guide. These do not get mailed out in your kits. They are emailed, so check your email if you have not received it as well. But this is available, again, as I mentioned, with a $10 fee. If you just give me a call or email me, I'd be happy to send it to you. So I am going to keep my notes very close by because I actually created this kit over a month ago. So I tend to put everything that we need in place, and we will recreate. I am going to get my little silicone mat for my adhesive. And so we are using Pool Party on this first card. And no, actually, is it Pool Party? It's Summer Splash. I'm sorry. Summer Splash. And we're just going to fold this 8.5 by 5.5 cut cardstock. You're going to fold that in half. I use my fingers, but you should probably use a scoring tool to get a nice crease in there. And then this was pre-cut for you if you didn't purchase the perennial die, and you're just gonna love how that gives a great accent right there. Then everybody received a full pack of the I think this was called Bloom Expressions from the SAB, from the celebration sale. So you all received a full pack of this. So you would just be cutting this according to the dimensions, which I think is 3.5 by 5. But please check your assembly guide. I could be off on that particular measurement. There we go. Line that up. And then what I did was I took this die cut, but I'm going to share with you how you have to cut the die. You do this together, these two dies, and you use the white cardstock, White Daisy cardstock that has been provided for you. So when you are putting this through your die cutting machine, you are putting them both on your die cutting machine. You're lining it up with your white cardstock, and this is the end result, putting them together. So we're going to do a little bit of blending here just to give that some color, and I'm trying to give it a gradient look. So I'm going to go soft really with a couple different colors. We are going to use Petunia Pop, and I'm using, well, I pulled Pool Party, but I want to grab my Summer Splash. So we're going to put my all-purpose mat right down here. So we have our Summer Splash here, and I'm grabbing my 2 blending brushes, one for each color. And what I did was I softly took the blending brush, and I'm going to just gently go around. I'm going to pounce off there just so I can get a really soft look. And I tend to come in off the side, so I'm not getting stark splotches. So sometimes when you stamp directly on it, you get a big blotch, and I'm trying to avoid that. So I'm going to just move that ink pad over to the side, and I'm going to take my Petunia Pop, which I love the way these two colors come together. Again, pouncing to the side and just randomly coming in to bring some color and create that nice little gradient look. So I'm actually happy with how the color came out on here, so I'm not going to add any more ink, but it's really going to be a personal preference on how you add your color in there. Also, we have 6x6 Bokeh paper, it's called B-O-K-E-H, and you guys all received about 6 pieces up there to create these extra pieces. So this is using the one that was Melon Mambo kind of color created, and we are going to adhere those two together, and then we're going to attach that onto the front of our card. So I'm just going to use some liquid glue here, and I am not worried actually about all these little pieces. I'm just going to randomly add. I do want to get around the edge. And we're going to just line this up like so. And that is going on way too easy, but we're going to, that's why I like using the liquid glue on here. because it easily is flexible on getting it. You put your two pieces together. And then we are going to stamp the word thanks. So we're going to do a little bit of masking here because as you can see here, this says like thanks so much. So I'm going to take that stamp. We're going to add it to a block. And you can use a Post-it note. I use these Post-it notes, but you can use a regular Post-it note. I think somebody gave me this to me a while ago. I mean, it's not something that I think I will go out right away and replace it, because I'll just use my regular Post-it note. Or you can use some masking tape, washi tape. We're just gonna cover up those words. And then you can use actually Versamark, but to get a darker white, and watch it won't happen, I like to use the white pigment ink. And this is sold separately with the ink bottle. And then you just fill it as needed. So as you can see, I have little streak marks on there. And I'm just going to stamp this on. And I'm going to place that wording. Oops. Make sure you take off your Post-it note. So we're going to heat emboss this. And I see just a little bit. So I'm just going to grab my nail because I don't want that to come over. And we are going to stamp the word thanks. Perfect. Now we're going to take my white embossing powder. And I'm going to coat it with embossing powder. Now, I didn't use my anti-static pouch. So, I'm going to show you a little trick. I'm just going to take a very small paintbrush and wipe that away without hitting the rest of it. And I'm going to close this up. And grab my heat tool. And we're going to let the magic work. So some people don't like embossing. They think it's too scary. And I absolutely love embossing. One of my favorite techniques. And it really is very easy to do. And you just want to make sure that it's all the same color and brightness, which that is. Now, if I had used my embossing anti-static pouch, I wouldn't have all these little, spatters of embossing. But I totally forgot. And I'm going to add that right here. Now, I want my word to come out a little bit straight, so I am going to be putting this out at an angle on here. And we're just going to adhere this to my card. And then we stamped and we die cut the small flower bunch within this stamp set. This little guy right here. And I colored, so I stamped in Memento Black. It has been out of stock for a while, but this is the this is the ink pad that when you're going to be coloring with alcohol markers, you want to use that ink pad because then it doesn't bleed. So I used Shaded Spruce and Melon Mambo for my color of my flowers here. And we are just going to pop this up. Nope, before we do that, we're going to add our little sprigs. And you guys should have received more than enough cardstock to cut 2 of these guys out. Or add your own sprigs that you have. If you have the sprig bunch, anything like that would work. I am going to add this right along here. And we're going to add the other one. I'm going to kind of mirror it up right there. And we're going to add some dimensionals to the back of our flower here. I am running out of dimensionals on this sheet, but I'm prepared. And we're just going to add this right to and there we have card number 1 done. So, oh, not completely done. We have to add our embellishments. And everybody got a pack of the Sunny Day iridescent embellishments. And what colors do I think I'm going to use? I think I'm going to go with this kind of summer splash look. I'm going to cover up that little splatter of embossing powder right there. And we got one more to add on to here because I like to do things in 3s. So I'm going to put the other one right there. And there we have it. Card number 1 complete. Let's move on to our next card, which is a fun fold card. Card number 2. You are awesome. So I do want to point out that everybody received the white ribbon in their package. Sadly enough, all these different color ribbons that I'm showing in these cards were not all available at time. So I did have to provide a substitute that would work for all of the cards. And I thought the white ribbon was perfect. So we're going to create this card. We're going to need a scoring tool. And you're going to need your trimmer. I know I cut everything backwards. According to everybody, I'm a backwards cutter. So, I don't mean to. I really don't know why I started to cut this way. And when I try to do it like everybody else, I can never get it done correctly. So you're going to have your base white willow cardstock. And it's cut at 4 1/4 by 11. And we're going to trim down the front of it by 1 inch. So I'm just going to bring this over so you guys can see to the 1 inch mark. And we're going to cut that right off. Put that to the side. And then we are well, I was supposed to fold it in half first. So, that is the 1 inch mark. So I am going to fold it. So fold it in half first, then cut 1 inch off on the top. And then you're going to have another piece of white cardstock in here. And this is 2 3/4 by 5 1/2. And we're going to score at the 1 1/4 inch. So I got 1 1/4. And I'm going to use my scoring tool on my trimmer here. Maybe. And we're going to just fold that down, just like that. And we can put that aside. And this is going to adhere to the inside center of this card base. And that's how we're going to be creating that flap, just like that. There we go. That comes up like that. That comes down like that. So that is our card base. And now we can just start decorating and coloring it in with patterned paper. And so you're going to be using your yellow bokeh sheet that you have in place. We're going to be decorating the inside. This is the Daffodil Delight. Move that out of the way. Okay, so does anybody else craft like me? It's like I use something, I'm not going to be using it again, but it stays on my table with me, right? So like my blending brushes, I don't need anymore. My paintbrush, I don't need anymore. So we're going to move those out of the way. Then we are using the second largest perennial postage die, and we are attaching that right on the inside. And this is a great place where you can add your note to the receiver of the card. Add that right in there. And let's decorate this inside here. I'm using the bokeh right here. Gonna line that up evenly. Oh, I'm like, why am I getting this ink smudges on here? I just realized all that other blending I did, I never cleaned it off on my mat. So we're going to add that right here. And then carry on to the front. And again, we're using the Bloom Expressions paper. So pretty. This was one of my favorite SAB items that they provided for everybody. And we're going to just add that right here. Right. Now we decorate our flap right here. That is going to be, again, with more of the SAB paper. Okay, and we have our accent pieces. Here I colored the small sprig leaf bunch with the shaded spruce blends. And then here I used the peach pie. And I used the light and dark to accent that in. And before we do that, we are going to add a little bit of that white ribbon around this die cut piece. So when you cut your original piece here, you should have more than enough on this bokeh, yellow bokeh, to cut one of the smallest postage dies here. Now, if you didn't purchase the perennial or you don't have the perennial, you're just going to cut your cardstock to hold on. Let's just measure it for you. I thought it was on there, and I'm sure it is. So just cut your piece of Bokeh Yellow to 2.5 by 2. Where's my measuring? To 2.25 by 1.5. And we're going to add our sentiment on here. And this is saying, you are awesome. Whoops. Right from the bundled piece here. And I am inking this up in pumpkin pie. And I'm going to place this just a little bit to the top because I want to put my white ribbon around here. So we're going to cut that up. I am going to add a little adhesive to the back side, bottom back side, just to keep the ribbon in place while I'm trying to tie the bow. And I do not know why I continue to use bows on all my products. I just love that extra little accent piece. But I have to tell you guys, I'm not one of the best bow makers. And you guys have heard me say that a million times. Oh, but today must be a good day. I'm going to just bring this in just a little. I'm going to flap that underneath. Perfect. I'm getting there. We're just going to trim this guy off just a little. And we're going to add dimensionals to the top of here. So if you are awesome, it's going to go right here. And then we're going to add our accent piece, flower, and sprig. So I'm going to pop this up with dimensional. And add that like so. And then I'm going to tuck this from behind. There we go. And there we have a nice, beautiful, fun fold card. You are awesome. So that is card number 2. Yay, we're getting there. All right, let me clear my station. We're going to bring up card number 3. And this is You Mean the World to Me. Fun, simple card. Now, again, if you don't have the perennial postage stamp set to die cut this, you are going to cut that measurement to 5. If that is going to be cut at 4 by 5 1/4. Using your Bloom Expressions paper. And I'm just looking for what I did with that card. Here we go. All my little extra pieces right here. So for the most part, everything was pre-cut for you guys. So you'll have some fun coloring and embellishing. So here again, we have 4 1/4 by 11. We're going to fold that in half. And you can score it or just fold in half. And then you have your 5 1/4 by 4 white daisy. We're going to put this on the inside for the sentiment. Right, here's the card that we're making. Now, before we put this on, we're going to wrap this with white ribbon. Oh, I'm out of this ribbon, so hopefully I have enough to create this bow. And if not, I think I might have some more. We'll just create a little knot on mine, but you can create a full bow. It is not straight, so there we go. We're going to wrap this around, create a little knot. And I am not going to try to struggle with creating that into a really tiny bow. So I'm just going to trim this off and use it as a little knot. We're going to adhere this to the front of our card. So this paper pack, you have so much more to create. You're going to have a lot more ribbon. So you can be able to duplicate these cards, create your own cards. So here, we need to stamp You Mean the World to Me. And I'm using Melon Mambo. Okay, tap, tap, tap. And let's see how straight I can get this without hitting the camera. I had my head on the camera. I'll take it. Not perfect, but will do. Just a tiny little border around the edge of the sentiment. We are going to pop this up with 3D tape. So this is 3D tape that came from the other company I worked for. Just using up what I have, but Stampin' Up! Also does provide 3D foam tape. So before I want to put that on, I'm going to put, you're going to cut out a 2.5 inch circle. Obviously, if it's a little bigger, I don't think it makes a difference. I am using the softer side of the bokeh. Just put that right there. I'm going to add my sentiment right here towards the top, centered. And then we cut out, I stamped in black memento, colored with Pretty in Pink, Melon Balmo, and Shaded Spruce. And we're just going to pop this up right here as well. I'm going to let it come right underneath that bow. All right, let me finish up these dimensionals here. So if you like what you see what I'm creating, please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel at Craft with Ro, YouTube. And here is the complete finished product of card number 3. Oh, it's not. We have to add our dimensionals. Why do I always forget that when I'm going live? But we can do that easily right here. 1, 2, and I think I'm going to go over here in this corner, 3. And there we go. The only difference, this ribbon was retired when I originally created it. I didn't realize that. So we're just switching it up with the white ribbon. And we are on to project number 4. Our last project. Again, we are going with 4 1/4 by 11. We are featuring Petunia Pop on here. And this actually I'm going to be using as the designer series paper as our card base. So I know some of you might be saying, well, that's just a little bit too thin of a card base, but it really isn't once we layer it up with our cardstock. Right, that's perfect. And we're going to add our inside piece right here for our sentiment. And I have extra pieces here. So again, we did the same thing with the Petunia Pop cardstock that you received in your kit, right? So we just took the 2 large pieces, lie your cardstock down, take both your dies, line them right up evenly like that, and run it through your die cutting machine. And this is going to be the outcome of that. So we're going to use our liquid glue. And then you're going to take this large piece with the white daisy cardstock, and you're going to create a background border. So we're going to take this piece, and we're going to attach them. All right. Bring these up together. We're going to line them up like so. There we go. I have this coming off this way. I have it at an angle on my one card, but you can actually do it any way you want. I think I'm going to go this way at this angle here. I'm going to adhere this to the card base. Okay, and again, I took that small flower bunch, and here I used Petal Pink and the Shaded Spruce. I'm going to pop that up. Oops. Right in the center there. We're going to add our stamp Love and Thanks. And I'm just stamping this in Black Memento. Okay, there it is. I'm like, where did that little piece go? Perfect. Again, I'm going to take some dimensionals. I think that's straight. We're going to take some of our pretty embellishments. Guy doesn't want to leave my, there we go. And take another. And then we're going to try to add a bow right here, if I can find my more ribbon. Well, I don't have the exact same ribbon. Actually, this ribbon was on the Last Chance for a really good price. So we're just going to create a small bow right here. Right? White ribbon is white ribbon. We're gonna probably a little bit more. And we're going to grab a glue dot. And add that right about there. Add my little ribbon right there. And there we have card number 4. So, you've just created 4 beautiful cards. Easy, follow instructions, nice assembly guide. And so, look at all that we just created. My, obviously, ribbon came apart on there. Right? Nice little fun fold. And then our first card that we created using that little bit of gradient blending. So, there you have it, guys. Thank you so much for joining our craft along. We'll be doing another one at the first of the month in April as well. Can't wait to share those samples with you. But I do appreciate you joining. Have a wonderful Saturday. Enjoy your day. If you have any questions, please never hesitate to reach out to me. Thank you and ciao.